Hey everybody, Jacob Godar. I had an awesome question come in about what order did you hire non-billable employees, meaning like admin, office managers, things of those sort, and what were some of the roles? And I want to go over what that looks like in our company, because if you're truly going to scale your company, these are the people that you're going to need on your team. It's going to need to be more than you running around like a chicken with your head cut off to grow a company. And honestly, some of the coolest parts of the business have been adding all of these different diverse things. People that are out in the field laboring, people that are out managing in the field, office management, office admin, having all these facets that truly makes our company a real company and not just a starter company, or not just me running everything, implementing, getting other people in the position to actually run the company. So this is a really cool topic. Let's get right into it. First, the first person we hired was an office, what you would call just standard admin. And this is, I'm going to explain the difference between what we did in Illinois and what we did in Florida a little bit later, because they're just a touch different. But so now this is going to kind of be how we did in Illinois. First, we hired the office admin. This is going to be someone that takes calls. This is going to be someone that anything I'm doing, I want to be able to multiply the stuff I'm really good at. Well, I'm good at selling work, talking to clients, managing the teams, growing the teams, doing all these things. I can handle answering all the calls. I can do all that, but I need to be doing the maximum prioritized work. The work that has the highest dollar value associated with it. And me just answering the calls, it does not have that. Me selling new work, it does. So this person's gonna allow me to do much more of that. And early on in my business, I realized that customer service, answering the phone, being on top of emails and calls and all of those things was gonna be huge. That's why I took it so serious when I was out in the field. I had earbuds with the things that laid on your shoulder, so as soon as it vibrated, I knew my phone was ringing. I'd idle the mower down and I'd jump off of it, shut it off, and answer, "Hey, this is Jacob with Scooter's Lawn Care." Because I knew that even then what I wanted the company to look like. I wanted to portray it as we were bigger than we were, because I knew that that's where we were going to be. I wanted to sound like they were calling into an office and they weren't calling the guy that's just out in the field trying to get through his book of work. It's a huge differentiator to be able to have people answering the phone or calling back in a very, very short time span versus all the other contractors that call back at the end of the day, have a bunch of voicemails they might get back to, maybe get back to the next day. It sets you apart from these people so much. So first person, office admin. Second person, still an office admin. And why do you say an office admin? Because when the second person came in, just like when the first office admin came in, it allowed me to do more and up my level of whatever I was good at. The second office admin is now going to allow the first office admin to start leveling up, becoming more of an office manager, becoming more of a managing position for what is going on in this area. So if they are really excelling at client communication, well, maybe you have them do the high level stuff, plus you tack on invoicing and billing and payments on anything you have payments on. Just keep ticking up what they do and then keep them in their wheelhouse. And then you give them an admin, which is basically becoming an office assistant. And so we keep working these people up the ladder. Those were our first two hires. Now, honestly, in Illinois, our third hire, we muddled around. We tried a bunch of different people that didn't work out. I made some really shitty hires. I initially probably tried to start the Florida deal in like the 2017 time, and some of the people we hired then, it was a complete fucking joke. It was one more issue along the long road. Like, owning a business is not going to just be easy. It's going to be challenging. And another issue along the long road of challenges here and challenges there. So we muddled through this third hire. And in 2020, we really tried to kind of iron this out. And really even in 2019, we really tried to iron this out. And in 2020 is when things finally started coming together. We ended up putting someone into the position, and it was not originally intended to be, but it was someone skilled with landscaping. And then they almost immediately started doing project sales, project management, project estimating, because that's the world that they came from and it's what they had experience in before. So that is a position. We landed where I wanted to be with what we wanted to hire or who we wanted to hire, but it took me forever to get there. It took years to get there when we should have done it in a year. Now, knowing that, I know what that third position is supposed to look like, more like what's going on in Florida. I'm going to tell you soon. I know what that third position is supposed to look like. I know, for me, what we should be evolving into when we get there. So it took a long time, and when I look at that third position, I think like someone who's good at sales or someone who is good at production, project management. Because if your company's like mine, you've got a lot of landscaping going on. That takes management. If your company's heavy maintenance, you might not need that. And that's why this question is a little vague and loaded, because if you run a maintenance company, it's a lot different than if you run a design build company only, you know, like it's so different. Or if you do like mine, it's a blend. It's probably a 70-30 of the work we do and how that's distributed across the different teams. So that's how we did it in Illinois. I feel like we screwed up a lot when we were going for that, trying to figure out who that third person was. We kept trying to just put an office admin in, and unfortunately, I don't think we had someone strong enough already in the office to sell the project work and keep the project side going. Because now, after watching it, I realized the goal would be to work myself out of a job, would be to get me from doing all these sales to make it where I don't have to do all the sales. I don't care about doing the sales, but I want to be able to keep, like all these other people, you see me talking about them elevating. I want to be able to keep elevating myself. I want to be able to move to managing the businesses overall, focusing on culture. Yes, do some big sales, do some stuff like that, but be able to focus on all the things I want to do. They need to be, the priority needs to keep going up. So maybe it was a $50 an hour job, then it's a $100 an hour job, then it's a $300 an hour job. Because now when I push the lever, it affects the whole company versus the sales fills one team. Like it's a lot about the thought process of it. So let's talk about Florida. Florida, our first couple hires trying to fill an office admin position were rough. None of those people stayed with us. That's something that you're gonna have to give yourself the grace on too. You're not gonna always get the right people. You're gonna have to fire people. They're gonna have to quit. Something's gonna have to happen. They're gonna realize they're not a good fit and they're gonna roll out, or you're going to tell them they're not a good fit and you need to be gone. One of those two versions, it's business. But once we got past that, once we got our first amazing rock star in the company, I gotta get my wife credit for this because she's the person that hired her. And you know, something that's very important in my company, or I think it should be in any company, is yes, you can try to hire perfectly for the position. Ultimately, we want badasses. And we need them to know that they need to be able to move like water. Your role's gonna change. You need to be able to go towards what's in your wheelhouse. What are you strongest at? What is going to bring the most value for you? Because over running these businesses, I've learned that I can have a person over here that I'm trying to get to do financial, like running numbers, and I can have a person over here that I'm trying to get to do some kind of organization or something. And I can be fighting tooth and nail to get these people to do what their tasks are every day. And something as simple as swap the roles. One person hated the organizing and the other person hated the financials, but they both, if you flip that, they actually love the task. So when you find out what people love to do and you put them in the roles they love to do, you don't have to ask. It reminds me of an organizational thing. I had people that I wanted to run something that was organizing based, and I would always get frustrated when it wouldn't happen. They hated organizing stuff. The second I put the person that loves organizing stuff, I never had to ask for it to happen. It always just happened. So keep that in mind on why people in your business need to be able to move like water to whatever makes the most sense. Point being, our person that we first hired that was total fucking rock star here in Florida, she was hired on as a marketing person. She didn't end up being a marketing person. She ended up working her way towards admin and then inevitably more of a project manager. She always said one thing: she wanted to run teams. And it's crazy that ideally for her, at first it was in marketing, but now she runs teams out in the landscape field. She manages all of the projects. She moves and orchestrates all the pieces to make sure the landscape jobs are done. And so all in all, she got what she desired. And now that she's in her wheelhouse, she's making optimum, like more money than she could have made trying to operate outside of her wheelhouse. So we shifted this person into what was an admin position, and then it organically grew into other things where we were able to incentivize her with other commissions and other exciting things. Then we immediately found out she was maxed out. So we go in to do what we said we do in Illinois. We hire the assistant to allow her to do more of the stuff that she's a rock star at. And then this immediately happened. And then another shift in the dynamic of the company. This was the different thing. In Illinois, we didn't have the people that could have handled the projects early on. Here, we hired these 2 people. And then the second one ended up being good at sales. And all of a sudden, she's doing all this office work, but she slowly starts saying, I want to sell stuff. I want to get involved with that. I want to learn about it. I start taking her on appointments. And before you know it, she's selling landscape projects. Now, this is a little flip-flopped. We have the heavy hitters first thing in here with being able to handle the projects and handle the maintenance. Now we need to actually bring in a strictly office admin person to just help facilitate them do their job and be effective. Because as the company grows, you're asking who I hired non-billable. It's gonna differ for every company. But as the company grows, it's you taking off your hat. I take off the phone call hat. I take off the estimate hat. I take off the paying bills hat. I take off the invoicing hat. I take off all the hats. I give those to other people. But just like you had to wear a lot of hats in the beginning of the company, usually when your company's small, the people around you are gonna wear hats. And then as you grow, things are gonna split off and split off and split off. Just like people, I've always had a lot of people doing project management and selling the job. And in the future, the evolution of the company, that will become 2 divisions. Sales, project management. Sales gets the job, project management cooks the meat. So this is ever going to be changing, and it's going to look different in your company than it necessarily looks in ours. But so those are some of the tasks and some of the roles. Project management, that's chasing down, getting POs for projects, scheduling all the vendors, scheduling dig tickets, communicating with a client about dates and things that are going on, communicating with the team and organizing and making sure they have everything set to do those projects. Sales, it's pretty straightforward. They're going to be closing deals and landing landscape projects. Because for us, maintenance, that's all from the office. That's an office admin task, is to sell all of the mowing, sell all of the fertilizing. That is strictly a GPS gross measurement estimate. So project sales, project management, then you're going to get into office manager. They're going to be someone that's leveled up in your company enough to do the billing, enough to do the invoicing, enough to spread all of these tasks, and then manage someone that's under them that's taken on those new repeatable first, entry level tasks, answering the phone and getting those things going. Hugely important thing that I've screwed up on time and time again is the person that answers your phone. They're extremely, extremely important person. I didn't think they were an extremely important person, but I didn't care enough or pay enough attention to the fact that that person was the face of our business. It was the first communication anybody had with our company and how that could affect the workload of our company. Because if someone calls my company and the answer is, hey dude, you're gonna sell less work. So when you're doing all of this, be thinking about the people you're hiring, be thinking about how crucial it is for them to have their wits about them, to be well-spoken, to not sound bad on the phone, to not sound questionable on the phone, to be able to talk with a smile on their face, because you can hear the difference between a smile and a scowl. And this is all really, really big and really, really valuable things to be thinking about. But you ultimately have to give yourself the grace that, no, I'm going to hire the wrong people. Some of the people we bring in, I tried to get it for that position, but they ended up being better over here. And we're going to move these things around to ultimately end up where we want to be. And that's with a successful team. It doesn't really matter how you get there. It's just about following the path and keep nudging people and guiding them and leading them along what's going to be best for them and best for their future opportunity. So if you have admin, leave in the comments below. Who was the first one you hired? Like, what was the role? And then list, 3 to 10 other tasks in the comments. I think this will all bring value to everyone wanting to grow a company, and especially the person that asked this question. I appreciate your time, guys. Now it's time to get back to it. So let's rock and roll. Have a great day.